Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining our joint credited mechanism webinar entitled Innovation for Carbon Neutrality through Jcm. I'm your today's host, Kaoru Yamaguchi from Global Environment Center Foundation. We are very happy to hold this Jcm webinar in conjunction with the Japan-Vietnam Environment Week. So before we dive right into the webinar today, I have just a few announcements for the audience. The first item is interpretation. In order to listen to the simultaneous interpretation in Vietnamese and in English, please use the interpretation option found on the bottom of your Zoom screen. There's a little button that you can find there. If you wish to not hear any interpretation, please select off. And by selecting mute original audio, you can choose to only hear the interpreter's voice. The second item is Q&A. We will be holding two Q&A sessions at the end of the session 2 and session 3. You can send us your questions through the Q&A feature, which is also found on the menu bar at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You are welcome to send to us any questions that you may have, but please remember two things when you do that. The first thing is please write your questions in English so that all of our audience will be able to read it. And the second thing is please remember to write the name of the speaker that your questions are for, so that we'll know who to address when you take up your questions during the Q&A sessions. And lastly, you will see a questionnaire on your browser when you exit this event. This is a questionnaire to ask you about what you thought about today's webinar so that we can improve our future events and future seminars. Your input is very important to us. It'll help us improve the events in the future. So please take a moment to answer it when you exit this event. So that's all from me for the announcements. And without further ado, I'd like to begin today's event with opening remarks. We have two distinguished guest speakers for opening remarks. The first speaker is Dr. Mai Kim Lin. She is a Deputy Director General at Department of Climate Change at Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam, MONRE. So with that, Dr. Kim Lin, you have the floor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the DCC, MONRE, I would like to thank for the Ministry of Environment of Japan, the GEC Japan, the Embassy of Japan in Vietnam to organize the Jcm in Vietnam, Innovation for the Carbon Neutrality through Jcm. And I would like to warmly welcome all of the participants to the webinar today. Ladies and gentlemen, well, the MOU on the cooperation regarding the low carbon emissions growth between Vietnam and Japan was signed for the first time in July 2013 and extended in June 2017 for the deadline extended until 2020 in order for the implementation of Jcm for the promotion, development of the technology products, systems, services, and the infrastructures, low carbon emissions in Vietnam on the basis of financial support and technology from the government of Japan to the business community. For the period of 2013 and 2020, the implementation of Jcm has achieved significant results, creating the new investment channel for the activities for the reduction of greenhouse gas in Vietnam. Through the Jcm, the business will have the access to and the application of technology, the product systems, and a low carbon emissions, a very advanced technology of Japan, and to receive the support for the enhancing capacity in the implementation of the greenhouse gases in Vietnam. The implementation of the mechanism is also the opportunity for all of the stakeholders to learn from the experiences for the building and the implementation of the Jcm in all of the different levels. For the October 2020, the Minister Trần Hồng Hà and the Ambassador of Japan, Yamada Takio, signed a memorandum on the cooperation on the growth of the low emission between the two governments. Especially at the COP26, the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Phạm Minh Chính, did have a very important opening remark, including the commitment of Vietnam towards zero emission by 2050. And in order to achieve this goal, it is very important for Vietnam to have the cooperation and support from the international community, especially the developed countries, including the financial mechanism and the technology transfer, including the implementation of JCM under the Paris Agreement on the climate change. JCM is the model for the Paris Agreement implementation, and it's very good for Vietnam and Japan in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, the webinar today is to share the information about the JCM in Vietnam from 2013 until now, update of the information regarding the policy for the reduction of greenhouse gases in Vietnam in order to achieve the net zero by 2050 and for the implementation of JCM in Vietnam for the period of 2021 and 2030. This webinar is also the chance for all of the organizations and business community to better understand about the procedure for the propositions, registrations, and implementation of the project under the JCM. On behalf of the MONRE of Vietnam and the DCC of Vietnam, I would like to extend the sincere appreciation to Government of Japan for the response adaptation of Vietnam to the climate change and the implementation of JCM in Vietnam over the past time. And we're looking forward to receiving more support from the Japanese government in the near future. Thank you all. I would like to wish you all good health and best wishes.
Thank you very much for the kind opening remarks. And the next guest speaker is Mr. Akihiko Haga. He is the second secretary at Embassy of Japan in Vietnam. So with that, Mr. Haga, I'm glad to have you back here. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mai Kim Lien, Deputy Director General, Department of Climate Change, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, distinguished speakers, and all the participants. It is my great honor to deliver opening remarks at this webinar on JCM implementation in Vietnam 2021. Over the past few years, we have seen drastic changes in climate policies across the world, and Vietnam is no exception. I would like to take this opportunity to commend Vietnam for its ambitious carbon neutrality target by 2050, announced by Prime Minister Chin at COP26 in Glasgow. As one of the emerging economies in the region, Vietnam's ambitious goal sets a great example for other Asian countries and beyond. And it is now time to translate the commitment into concrete actions. And yes, it is not an easy path to follow. It requires drastic and systematic changes in all sectors and tremendous amounts of investment. However, I am confident that we can achieve our shared goal together as Japan and Vietnam will walk side by side throughout this unprecedented journey. The two countries' relationship under the extended strategic partnership have become stronger than ever in all areas, including diplomacy, economy, and culture. And the same goes for our cooperation in the environment field. Last month, during Prime Minister Chin's visit to Tokyo, Minister of Environment Japan and Minister of Natural Resources and Environment Vietnam signed the Joint Cooperation Plan on Climate Change towards carbon neutrality by 2050. This reinforces the strong tie between the two ministries. And under the Joint Cooperation Plan, we will implement a number of activities, including Jcm projects. The JCM is a powerful tool for climate action. So far, 40 projects have been done across Vietnam and mobilized more than $350 million in total from both public and private finance. After Japan's carbon neutrality commitment last year, and after the completion of Paris Rulebook at COP26, the JCM's importance and potentials are even more increasing. Today, we have a series of presentations which will provide you the latest information surrounding the JCM including recent policy development, introduction of financing program, and the JCM Global Match. We have also presentations by distinguished speakers from the ongoing projects to share their good practices and lessons learned, which will be followed by online business matching. I hope you will find this seminar a useful opportunity to better understand the JCM and inspire you with new ideas for your future JCM projects. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank the Secretariat for the preparation of the seminar. Once again, thank you very much all for your attending today's seminar, and I will look forward to fruitful discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Haga. And I'd like to thank the two speakers for the kind remarks and also sort of setting the stage for today's webinar with the net zero goals for Vietnam and Japan and the decisions about Article 6 at Glasgow in COP26. So thanks again for the two speakers. So with that, I would like to move on to session 2, information sharing on the JCM progress. The first speaker for this session is Ms. Maiko Uga. She's a Section Chief at Office of Market Mechanisms, Climate Change Policy Division, Global Environmental Bureau at the Ministry of the Environment, Japan. Her presentation is entitled Recent Development of the JCM. So with that, Ms. Uga, you have the floor.
Thank you. I hope you can hear my voice.
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Maiko Uga from Ministry of the Environment, Japan. And thank you all for participating in this webinar. And also, I'd like to thank Dr. Lien and Mr. Haga about your opening remarks and all the efforts done by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam and the Global Environmental Center Foundation of Japan. So today, I would like to briefly introduce the joint crediting mechanism. And we also have a Q&A time later, and I welcome your comments or questions. And next slide, please. Before going to the JCM, I would like to share the Japan's climate target. And so we have a 46 emission reduction target by 2030 compared to 2013 level. And we also have a long-term goal, which is net zero emission by 2050 compared to 2013 level. So you see this orange arrow, and I would like to emphasize the next 10 decades will be decisive, and we really need to accelerate our action toward this net zero target. Next slide, please. So now I would like to move on to the joint crediting mechanism, the JCM. And this diagram summarizes the concept of the JCM. So to tackle the climate crisis, everyone has to take actions. And so under the Paris Agreement, every country has an emission reduction target. Japan, of course, will take strong domestic action to reduce emission, but we will also like to cooperate with other countries to contribute to this issue. So the JCM is a bilateral cooperation between Japan and partner countries, and this include not only the government, but also there are other actors in those countries, including the private sector that actually implement projects in most cases. So the government, we create this JCM, the framework, and under this framework, we promote the introduction of leading decarbonizing technologies or maybe protecting the forest, so implementation of mitigation actions. And we also not only just carry out project, but evaluate those efforts in a quantitative manner. And lastly, we'll put it, this effort will be formed as a carbon credits, and these are shared by the Japan and the partner countries. So, which means JCM really contribute to the emission reduction target of both countries. So, for maybe as you know, the recent COP26, we had a successful conclusion of the rulebook for the Article 6, which is really tells about the carbon market mechanism, how it operates. And so we are expecting the carbon market will further expand. And I believe that JCM as a pioneering mechanism under this Article 6 of the Paris Agreement will benefit not only for the GHG emissions in all the countries, but also for the sustainable development of partner countries. Next slide, please. So this slide just show you current JCM partner countries, and we have 17 countries at this moment, including Vietnam. And Japan hopes to have more countries to accelerate our climate actions. And between Japan and Vietnam, the JCM was started in 2013. And recently we extended to 2030. So now we are very much excited to actually implement more projects. Next slide, please. This is a brief summary in the table of all the funding the Ministry of the Environment Japan has at this moment. And later, representative from other GSE will introduce more about this Jcm Model Project. And this is by far the largest funding for the project, and hopefully you will access this finance to implement decarbonization projects. Next slide, please. And this is a map of all the projects we have been supporting. And in Vietnam, we have 37 projects, including the F-gas projects. And we hope to see more projects, and hopefully this webinar will give you more ideas and interest in the JCM. Next slide, please. And again, this is the picture of the actual projects we have supported. And in Vietnam, we have many projects, but I put a photo of large solar project and also energy efficiency project in the factories. And also we put high efficiency transformers all over the Vietnam. So a lot of kinds of projects are possible in JCM. And if you have any questions, we can consult and how you can realize those projects. Next slide, please. This is show the technology transfer through the JCM. So about half of the projects are renewable energies, and about half of energy efficiency. And each category, we have a variety of technologies, and we look forward to select new technologies or cutting edge project. And so also there are some projects in waste and transport sectors, and hopefully we'll have more projects such as waste to energy that we recently selected in Vietnam. And next slide, please. So this slide shows a recent project in Vietnam. So this fiscal year, 8 Jcm Model Project and 1 Jcm F-gas project were selected. And energy efficiency improvement project account for the largest portion, and followed by the renewable energy projects. Next slide, please. So this is my last slide. And so as I briefly mentioned, so at the UN Climate Change Conference, the rule book for this Article 6 or the market mechanism was concluded. And so which gives us more clarity on how we can use this carbon market to realize our emission reduction targets. And so Japan, we leading the Article 6 negotiation, and together with all the partner countries, including Vietnam, we are the forerunner with the experience of the JCM. We like to strengthen our effort in these three actions. So we like to expand partner countries, and also like to strengthen the project development and implementation in collaboration with international organizations such as ADB and World Bank. And second point, we like to scale up the JCM by mobilizing further private finance. And until this moment, government provided the most finance because the carbon market wasn't active, because the rule wasn't clear. But now we have Article 6, and a lot of private sectors want to use the carbon market to implement the project. So we are discussing how we can give more opportunity with less government finance, but the more private finance coming to the JCM. So lastly, government would like to contribute to the global operationalization of this carbon market mechanism, because sometimes we need to have a capacity building activities for each partner country, but Japan would like to support those aspects, and which really leads to the more projects in the future. So this is a brief summary of what we're gonna do, but if you have any question about my presentation, we welcome your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Uga, for the comprehensive introduction of JCM. Our next guest speaker is Dr. Loan Kwon Hui. He's a head of Division of GHG Emission Reduction and Ozone Layer Protection at Department of Climate Change at Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam, MONRE. Presentation is entitled Greenhouse Gas Emission Reduction Policies in Vietnam Towards Net Zero Target. So Dr. Kwon Hui, you have the floor. Sorry, we were not able to hear your voice just now. Could you try speaking again?
Well, Mr. Hui, can you turn on your microphone?
Good. Would you be able to turn your microphone on? Oh.
Vâng, mọi người đã nghe được chưa?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Is
We
it
can
okay?
hear you. Thank
Microphone
you.
is now available. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation to share the policies of the greenhouse gas emission reduction policies in Vietnam, especially in the framework of the COP26. We have the zero target, net zero target. So this is the under the commitment of the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Mr. Phạm Minh Chính. Well, in my presentation, I'll talk about the Vietnam updated NDC, well, greenhouse gas management in law on the environmental protection 2020, and the decree on the greenhouse gas emissions reduction and ozone layer protection, and the action towards the net zero target. And so you can see that the NDC was submitted by 2020. So the unconditional target by 2030, the minimum 9% compared to the BAU. So that's the 2030. So with the international support, so by 2030 up to and even more than 27%, that should be mobilized. So within that frame of time, we built the law on the environmental protection 2020 with a very specific guideline regarding the greenhouse gas emissions reduction policies at the central and the local level regarding the GHG emission reduction. So particularly the measurement, the approval and the plan for the reduction of the greenhouse gases at the sectoral and the ministerial level. So these are the activities which will be making significant contributions to achieving the goal towards net zero target committed by the Prime Minister of Vietnam. So this is the very first degree on the GHG emission reduction and ozone layer protection 2022. And the Prime Minister decision on the issuance of the list of sectors and facilities to submit GHG inventory 2020. So this is the very first legal basis of Vietnam. So we have identified more than 2,000 facilities emitting to the atmosphere, and they will start reporting their emissions by 2023. So that should be the allocation properly to the central and the local level for the reduction of the greenhouse gases. So this is also the legal basis for these facilities to join in the carbon mechanism and the credit mechanism under the Paris Agreement framework, and it is kind of the tax, which is the very first regulation of Vietnam. At first, we started with over 2,000 facilities, accounting for more than 30% of the total national emissions. So, but they are the facilities who will have mandatory to reduce the greenhouse gases by 2025. And then we will be able to control the total emissions of these facilities in comparison with that of the central level will be higher. And these facilities will be required to, to calculate the emissions at the local level. And on that particular basis, the ministries, and localities will be building their own plan regarding the greenhouse gas emissions at the local level, and then report to the MONRE and making contributions to the NDC. So now we are building the decree, and we're not talking about the net zero target yet, but the responsibilities to different levels, from the central level to the ministry level to the local level. So we already have the policy. First is to raise the awareness. Second is to enhance or to build up their own capacity regarding the calculation or measurement of the greenhouse gas emissions and the identification of the potential of the reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions at the local level to the central level. So this is in order to achieve the net zero target by 2050. And alongside, we build the regulations under the joint carbon mechanism. So we have completed the project for the development of the national carbon market in Vietnam. and the policies within the framework of the Article number 6 of the Paris Agreement, together with other regulations for the facilities to have more flexible mechanism in order to reduce their own greenhouse emissions. So within the framework of their own responsibilities. So it is the very first degree. So up to this time, I would like to report to you all that it has the consensus different levels, from the central level to the local levels for the greenhouse gas emission reductions. And now we're working together with the government office and the Ministry of Justice in order to compile and to finish this degree and to be submitted to the National Assembly by the end of December 2021 or by the latest in February in 2022. I would like to go to continue. So this degree is divided into two phases. Well, in order to meet the target committed by in updated NDC. So the first phase is from 2022 to 2025. So there's no pressure on facilities to reduce emissions, and the focus is on the enhancing facilities capacity to carry out GHG inventory and to develop mitigation plan. And then it is setting up a national GHG inventory system, the MRV system. That is activities for period from 2022 to 2025. And then the second phase from 2026 to 2030. So that should be the mitigation measures at all levels will be implemented. And there will be the quota for emissions, which will be distributed. The carbon market is fully operational by the period from the 2026 to the end of the 2030, and the MRV system for managing mitigations at facility level. So we are moving towards the circular economy or the green economy. The carbon market mechanism will be applicable in order to achieve the higher effectiveness and efficiencies of the energy use and to enhance the responsibilities of all different stakeholders. So we have identified about 3,000 facilities within the framework of the greenhouse gas emission reduction framework, and these facilities are in energy and industry. So the transport corporations, there are about 200 corporations of the transportation and logistics, and the towers of energy of over 1,000 TOE, and the other facilities with a capacity of over 65 megawatt per year. So the first mechanism will be issued in 2022, and it is fully operational, approved by the government, National Assembly. So we are working together with these facilities in order to clarify their responsibilities in reporting the GHG emissions. So within the degree, we have the templates and the form, the guidelines for the implementation of the baseline greenhouse gas emissions framework. And we're working also together with the international partner, especially the JICA, to build the online reporting mechanism so that the local facilities, local organizations may conduct the reporting regime online and to report their results of the calculations of the greenhouse gas emissions by the deadline. So the responsibilities of the facilities, by 2025, provide data for the greenhouse gases inventory developed and build up the capacity. So the responsibility of the government agency, so especially the line ministries, the MOEJ, the MORE, the MOT, MOC, and the MONRE. So by 2025, they will have to provide the technical guidelines for the greenhouse gas inventory and the MRV activities, develop database of the greenhouse gas emissions and mitigation, national and sectoral greenhouse gas inventory, develop and implement sectoral mitigation plan, update list of facilities to submit greenhouse gas inventory. And from 2026, distribution of emission quota for sector and facilities, while implementing sectoral mitigation plan towards and beyond 2030 target. And from 2027, well, we will be developing regulations and piloting carbon market for high potential sector. And finally, from 2028 and beyond, well, the carbon market will be fully operational. And for the local governments, by 2025, well, they shall be supervising the implementation of greenhouse gas inventory and mitigation plan at facility level. And from 2025 and beyond, they shall be able to verify the inventory at facilities level. So with the facilities now, they are volunteering in building the carbon market and making contributions to the building up of their own capacity. So we have the action towards net zero target under the commitment of the Prime Minister at the COP26. So these are not only the political commitments, these are the true commitment of Vietnam towards a net zero target. And we have built a roadmap developing and implementing a 2050 net zero roadmap. And we have also identified the action plans to develop NDC implementation plans for the period of 2022 and 2030 by LMs of industry and trade, transport, agriculture, rural development, natural resources, and environment and construction. And for your information, at this point, after COP26, the ministry and the locality and business community in Vietnam, while expressing their support to the net zero target, and they are building the plan for achieving these goals. Especially the area you can see. We have received the letter. We are building the plan towards the reduction of greenhouse gas and the automobile maker associations express their support and to join our actions. And the roadmap will be including a number of the action plans at all levels, from the national level to the ministry level to local level, with the participation of the business community, and especially with the facilities with the huge potential of the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. And this would be including the implementations measures to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions in all economic sector. The guidelines regarding the regulations to guide the implementation of the greenhouse gas inventory, the MRV at all levels and sector, the monitoring, developing regulations and guidelines for monitoring financial. Regarding the market, we'll be launching a domestic carbon market, linked with an international carbon market, and implement mechanism under the Paris Agreement and other voluntary mechanism. And this guideline will be built in 2022. So we will pilot by 2025, and within the framework of 2 years, it will be fully operational. So with the area with the high potential of the greenhouse gas reduction. So we working together with the science technology sector, regarding the technology transfer from the other country in order to enhance the effectiveness and efficiencies of the new technology. So it is a high cost activities, but the international cooperation or the socializations will bring about the practical social benefits for the development. And the final pillar should be the finance. We will be developing financial mechanism and policies to mobilize capital to carry out activities to respond to climate change and to reduce greenhouse gas emissions throughout the economy. So while this will be bringing about the competitiveness to all of the business community. So these are the main pillars and the action towards net zero target. So with the primary goal is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 while completing the NDC of Vietnam, making the contribution to the World Climate Change Framework. And we will come up with the further adoption and adaptations of our framework. And we're looking forward to the collaboration, cooperation, and coordination from the international partners in order to work better in the future. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quan Huy, for introducing the policies and new rules going forward to 2030 and 2050 in Vietnam. So thank you very much again. I'd like to introduce our next guest speaker, Mr. Hiroshi Takahashi. He's a director at Financing Program Group at Global Environment Center Foundation. He'll give you a presentation entitled Financing Program for Jcm Model Project. So, Mr. Takahashi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Yamaguchi-san, for your kind introduction. Okay, so let me start my presentation. Xin chào. Good morning. This is Hiroshi Takahashi of Global Environment Center Foundation. And we are an implementing organization for a financing program of Jcm Model Project. I'd like to express my deep gratitude to have this opportunity, and I'm willing to talk about outline of this scheme and some key points for the model project. This is the basic policy for Jcm Model Project. It is based on Japan's strategy for overseas expansion in the environmental field and 2025 strategy for overseas expansion of infrastructure system, both decided by Ministry of Environment Japan. So Jcm Model Project support financing for diffusion of advanced decarbonizing technologies and partner countries' infrastructure, as well as implementation of mitigation action. These are the requirements for Jcm Model Project. Main points are as follows: reduce energy-related carbon dioxide emission with leading decarbonizing technologies in partner countries, and contribute to achieving Japan's greenhouse gas emission reduction target through the Jcm, and also contribute to the sustainable development in partner countries. The reduction of greenhouse gas emission can be quantitatively calculated and verified for issuing Jcm credit. This is the timeline of the model project for this fiscal year. We opened call for the proposal from 7th April and closed the call in the beginning of September, about 2 months earlier from we originally planned, as we received many excellent proposals and the budget expired as the result of the selection. We announced the result of the first selection for 9 projects on 29th June, also announced the result of the second selection for 19 projects on 27th September. From here, I will refer some point about criteria for the model project. We consider the criterion of cost effectiveness, that is finance versus amount of greenhouse gas emission reduction, important to dispatch limited budget effectively for excellent project. We set this value less than 4,000 yen or about $40. Recently, there is a lot of proposals for certain technologies in some countries. If the number of applied technologies exceeds 5 in a country, this value decreases to about $30. And if the number exceeds 10, it diminishes to about $25. This is a table of applied technologies for each partner country. Based on the number of project on this table, maximum financial support is limited. If proposed technology is the first one, the maximum financial support is up to 50% of the total cost of the project. The rate goes down by the number of already applied technologies for each country. This is because the first one has the greatest impact in terms of diffusion of technology as it is newly introduced, then the second and the third. The model project should contribute to the sustainable development for the partner country. We review projects as they contribute to sustainable development goals. Jcm Model Project reduces greenhouse gas emission. So basically, work and good for SDGs and contribute to sustainable society. This is an example as possible contribution of renewable energy project to SDGs. In this tough situation of COVID-19, we accepted many excellent projects. These are the projects for the first selection of this year. Colored cell, is the project in Vietnam. Project entity with red characters are newly selected representative participant. It is important to have a lot of participants for future expansion of the Jcm Model Project. These are the projects for the second selection. Vietnam has 8 projects in total, which count the most. The 5 are solar power project, 2 energy efficiency, and 1 waste to energy project. As a result of these trend of this couple of years, the percentage of renewable energy sector has been increasing. You can see from the sector column of blue characters, 20 out of 28 projects are for this sector. We could add to Jcm EcoLease scheme. It is the second year after introduction of this scheme, which we would like to promote. And one of the projects is solar power and storage battery, the category we also would like to promote. Solar power project is very popular in Jcm Model Project. It counts the highest number among variety of proposed technologies. We welcome this renewable energy project as good energy source replacing fossil fuel. On the other hand, we need to confirm that proposed technology is advanced one. So we set the condition for the photovoltaic module of its conversion rate from optical to electric energy to 20% or higher. Although a lot of solar power projects has been selected, there is still room to increase total performance for this system. One such way is to employ battery or accumulator in the system. We'd like to promote this category by making conditions clear for participants applying this technology. These are the points we require for this technology. This is the project we selected this year for a solar power system with storage battery. We expect this technology could increase the number for the model project and also proposed in Vietnam next year. I'll briefly explain project selected for Vietnam from next slide. From here, 5 slides are for solar power systems. At the beginning of this year, the number of this category in Vietnam was 4, and it reached more than double this year. This project will install 9 megawatt solar panel on several factories organized by Sharp, who is Japan's major solar panel manufacturer and famous for their product of their high quality and reliability. This project will install 12 megawatt panel on factories organized by Japan's big business firm. And this will install to 9.8 organized by Japan's major energy company. This project will install 5.8 megawatt on beverage factory organized by experienced representative participant. And this will install 2.5 megawatt on food and garment factories. It's also organized by Japan's major energy company. This project is to install a waste-to-energy plant in Bac Ninh province. And the plant incinerates and generates electricity from municipal solid waste, which has been disposed of as landfill, and industrial solid waste, which were previously just incinerated. This scheme enables the proper waste treatment and replaces grid electricity by supplying electricity without use of fossil fuel. The good thing for this project is that it also reduces the methane emission from landfill site. This will introduce high-efficiency dimmable or tunable LED lighting system in office buildings. It employs a wireless control system to properly adjust illuminance, thus reduces energy consumption. This project introduced high-efficiency chiller and high-efficiency LED lighting with dimming function to new shopping center. The project leads to reduce energy consumption and greenhouse gas emission by installing high-efficient chiller equipped with inverters and LED lighting system, which could dim down up to 70%. This map shows all the projects supported by Jcm financing program at the new selection. The Jcm Model Project started in 2013 and has been stacking up projects every year. This figure gives you overview of the number of projects from back to front is by year, and horizontally by partner countries are in line. Vietnam has been constantly adding the number of proposals and selection. This chart shows an accumulated number by sector of energy saving, the blue one, and as renewable energy, orange one, and others for all the model project. As a recent trend, the number of renewable energy project has been increasing. It adds up to 105. So it is in this renewable energy sector, photovoltaic system counts the most of 82 projects, more than 74% for all partner countries. The second count is mainly hydro, then biopower generation. In this sector, we recently added wind power and geothermal power generation as new technologies. We anticipate to have more proposals and add variation in this field in Vietnam. This is a technology trend by sector in Vietnam. Renewable energy project, orange color, has been increasing. And it's great thing that we could add a waste to energy project this year. We also continue to support to create new projects in other sectors of energy efficiency and transportation. In many areas, the technology of model project has been applied. We have already introduced many systems for utility field, variety of production equipment in factories, in industrial field, also in transportation area. As you can see with these pictures, Jcm Model Project is effective for promotion of infrastructures and variation of technology supported. It's getting diverse. So you have a lot of opportunity to make use of this model project to reinforce infrastructure in Vietnam. COVID-19 still imposes trying time to people in Japan, people in Vietnam, and everyone around the world. Jcm Model Project also have been affected by this pandemic. However, project participants try hard to complete their project on time, even in this pandemic. We have to support participants toward completion of their project successfully. We could keep our activity going even in this restricted environment, holding meeting, consultation, and seminar online like this moment. It is true that COVID-19 limits us to some extent. However, we keep our activity going by these alternative or recovering ways, not to data action of greenhouse gas emission reduction for our precious environment. Shinka Mon, ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Mr. Takahashi from Global Environment Center Foundation for providing a macro view of Jcm and the recent projects that have been selected for this fiscal year. I think it was a very informative for the audience to see the recent developments and trends as well. So with that, next guest speaker is Mr. Nguyen Van Minh. He's head of Division of Economics and Information on Climate Change, Department of Climate Change, DCC, at Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam, MONRE, with the presentation entitled Implementation of Jcm in Vietnam. So with that, Mr. Van Minh, you have the floor.
Xin chào tất cả quý vị đại biểu.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to thank the organizer for the invitation to share my presentation regarding the implementation of joint credit mechanism Jcm in Vietnam. So at the webinar today. So in my presentation, I will be going through three following parts. So how can I move the slides? So in my presentation, I will be touching upon the general information about Jcm in Vietnam. I'll be talking about development and implementation of Jcm projects in Vietnam over the past year, over the past time. And third, I'll be discussing the implementation plan for the period of 2021 and 2030. I would like to go into the general information about Jcm. So you know that for the implementation of Jcm in Vietnam, Vietnam and Japan signed a memorandum on cooperation on low carbon growth between the Japanese side and the Vietnamese side for the first the ministerial level. So on the 2nd July 2030. So the representative from MONRE and from the Ministry of Environment of Japan joined the ceremony. Well, for the implementation of the Jcm, for the period 2021 and 2030, so the two countries agree for the implementation of Jcm in order to make contribution to the commitment towards reduction of greenhouse gas emissions within the framework of NDC. So that is the very important aspect. So the two countries agree upon the memorandum on the low carbon growth. So it should be signed at the government level. So in October 2021, the representative of the two governments representative from the MONRE and the ambassador of Japan embassy in Vietnam also signed another memorandum. So for the implementation of the JCM Vietnam, the two countries established the joint committee, which is a committee comprising representatives of Vietnam and Japan to direct, coordinate, and manage JCM implementation activities under the Memorandum of Understanding on Low Carbon Growth between Vietnam and Japan. So from Japanese side, that is the co-chair, who's the Deputy Ambassador of Japan in Vietnam. And from the Vietnam, so the co-chair is the Deputy Minister of MONRE, the Vice Chair, the Director General of PCC, and the other representatives of the relevant ministry. So at the moment, the Vietnamese JCM Secretariat is a working group consisting of officials from DCC, MONRE, who assist at the JC in Vietnam. So in total, there are about 20 staff providing the support to the JC, especially the Vietnamese JCM Secretariat, so which is comprising of the staff of all of the relevant departments of the MONRE to join hands to work together. Well, for the implementation of the JCM in Vietnam, so especially the implementation of the projects from Vietnam, so Japan will be providing the funding to the project through the Ministry of Environment of Japan, MOEJ, who will provide support the maximum amount of 50% of technology investment. So the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, and NIDO could support 100% investment in technology, but the project participants must acquire after the pilot or demonstration period of project 3 years at a discount rate, normally 23 discount. So the JCM starts its operation as the non-tradable credit type of mechanism, while the JCM credit would not yet be traded on the market. So that is for your information. So from 2013 until now, the JCM is now under the non-trade mechanism. So the projects are not available for trade on the market basis. So while for the implementation of the JCM activities in Vietnam, while the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment issued circular number 17 was stipulating the development and the implementation of projects under the joint credit mechanism in the framework of cooperation between Vietnam and Japan. So including the 15 implementation areas of energy production, energy transmission, energy consumption, agriculture, waste treatment, afforestation and reforestation, chemical industry, manufacturing industry, construction, transport, mineral exploitation and processing, metal production, emission from production and consumption, and using
gọi tắt là MOEJ. Trên đây là cái
so you can see here the development and implementation of Jcm projects. Well, the steps for the building and the implementation of the Jcm project from the beginning until receiving the carbon credit. So this is the mechanism through 7 steps. The first step is the development of methodology. So each side of PP prepares a draft methodology and submits to the joint committee for approval. So this should be the basis for the building of the project. And the second step is to develop project design documents. While PP make a project design document, the PDD for a JCM project activity. So it is all about how to achieve the greenhouse gas emission reduction. And the third step, the validations. The TPE conducts independent evaluation of a proposed Jcm project against the validation guidelines as developed by the JC. While the third party independent organizations, about more than 10 organizations who are licensed for the approval of the Jcm project in Vietnam. And the fourth step is the registrations. So the formal acceptance by the JC of a validated project as a Jcm project. So for the project which will qualify with the criteria, and the fifth step or the monitoring. So the PP implements a Jcm project and monitor greenhouse gas emission reduction or removal by the Jcm project based on the PDD. So at the step number 6, that should be the verification. The TP conducts the periodic independent review and expose verifications of the monitor greenhouse gas emissions reduction or removals. So the step number 7 for the issuance of credits, PP requests the JC to notify the exercise to issue the credits to its respective account in the registry on the basis of the verification report with the determined allocation of credits. So the information about the development and implementation of Jcm projects in Vietnam. So the information on the methodology, project register, and credits issued to each project is posted on the Vietnamese and Japanese government Jcm website. So you may see the link for the website. So right here, so you can see the vie.jcmvietnam.vn index PHP or the www.jcm.go.jp and VNJP. So this is the statistics, the overview of the development and implementation of Jcm projects. Over the past time, since 2013 until now, we have organized 8 JC meetings in order to consider and to evaluate the activities of the Jcm projects in Vietnam. So the annual plan and the future plans. So 15 methodologies approved and 14 projects registered in Vietnam. So within the 14 projects, 8 projects have been issued with the credits for, have been issued with the credits. So in total, 4,415 credits issued. So the Vietnam received 38%, about $35 million US, accounting for 38% of the total funding for the project. It is a significant figure. So regarding the credits received by the project allocated to Japan was 69% and Vietnam 31%. So this is the development and implementation of Jcm project. You can see the 14 Jcm projects registered and implemented in Vietnam. So the all project related to the energy saving. So the list of the project you may refer to on the website, both in Vietnam and Japan for your reference. I have just introduced in the previous slides. And I would like to go to the implementation plan for the period of 2021 and 2030. So first and foremost, Vietnam will review and adjust the rules and the guidelines for the implementation of the Jcm to ensure that the process of registering, implementing, reporting on the implementation of Jcm project complies with the Vietnam regulations on administrative procedures. That should be the first. So from then until now, in the period from 2013 until now, the owner of the project will submit the documents via email or the information portal. So these information has not been built properly in accordance with the regulation of Vietnam government. So these will be about to be regulated more properly. So the submission should be going via the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. So this is also common for the other countries. So the second is to strengthen the state management while conducting periodic inspection and the supervision of the project over the past time. Well, prior to the point of the signing of the memorandum on cooperation to extend the JCM beyond 2020. So we assess the activities of the project. I can say that the majority of the project owner have not been familiarized with the JCM rules, or the majority of them don't understand about the JCM mechanism. So mostly they go through the consultation of the parties who provide the kind of the guide or the kind of the suggestions for the implementation of the project that the project owner have no idea. So, and third, it is also very important to identify the rate of allocation of credits among the participants to match the rate of contribution to the development and implementation of the project. So this is the area of the interest of the business community. So the MONRE, together with the other stakeholder, determine the rate of the allocation of the credit not clear at the moment. So the stakeholders, the parties of the project should embark on the negotiation and discussion for the allocation of the credits. So the Jcm project will make contributions to the NDC. So this should be agreed upon and to consider. And then furthermore, it is also necessary to promote the tradability of carbon credits from the Jcm project. So when it is possible for the commercialization, we encourage the businesses to register for the project, and it is also the kind of the additional financing funding sources. It is similar to the carbon mechanism operated over the past time within the implementation of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So the commercialization should be allowed for the domestic market. So we need to build further capacity for the business community in accessing, developing, and implementing JCM projects, and build capacity and to promote the participation of agencies and units in Vietnam in consulting and verifying activities for the JCM project. So upon the participation of the consulting parties in Vietnam, while the number of the projects JCM in Vietnam have significantly increased. So you can see that the Vietnam is the country with the huge potential for the activities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And the initial statistics for the number of projects into the implementation within the framework of the joint credit mechanism is significant and also an encouraging sign for all of us to make further contributions and to further development in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Van Ming, for introducing. I listened with interest, particularly about the challenges. In the last slide, I think that Vietnam is tackling with regards to JCM. So thank you for sharing all that information. I think it was very insightful for everyone to hear. Next guest speaker is Dr. Ryo Kubo. He's a senior manager at Financing Program Group at Global Environment Center Foundation. He'll give you a presentation entitled Financing Program to Demonstrate Decarbonization Technology for Realizing Co-Innovation and Pilot Project for Comprehensive Support Throughout the Whole Hydrogen Supply Chain Abroad. So Mr. Kubo, you have the floor now.
Yes, thank you, Kang-san. Xin chào. Good day, everyone. I'm Ryo Kubo from GEC. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to introduce two financial support programs. So let me share my presentation slide. I would like to inform you about firstly, financing program to demonstrate decarbonization technologies for realizing co-innovation. Secondly, pilot project for comprehensive support throughout the whole hydrogen support chain abroad. Jcm financing scheme actually consists of 3 programs. The first one is financing program for Jcm Model Projects. I guess many people know this, and Uga-san and Takashi-san already explained. So I would like to inform you about the second one and the third one in this presentation. The second one is financing program to demonstrate decarbonization technology for realizing co-innovation, which is focusing on innovation and partnerships. The third one is pilot project for comprehensive support throughout the whole hydrogen supply chain abroad. Oh, sorry. Regarding these 2 programs, what is the difference from financing program for Jcm Model Projects? Financing program for Jcm Model Projects is expected to contribute to achieving GHG emission reduction target. On the other hand, co-innovation and hydrogen projects are support for pilot or demonstration projects, and we may say they are expected to raise the future Jcm model projects. About the budget, it is about 8.8 billion Japanese yen, approximately $88 million for 3 programs in this fiscal year. $83 million is for Jaishan Model Projects. It's including small amount of co-innovation programs. $5 million for the hydrogen program. So now let's move on to the detail of co-innovation program. This financing program aims to contribute to creating a decarbonized society through the renovation and expanding of high-quality decarbonization technologies to create innovation beneficial for both Japan and partner countries through collaboration. That's the reason why we are core of innovation. To contribute to fulfill the aim of greenhouse gas reduction in Japan through the joint crediting mechanism. To bring benefits to the technology developers in Japan as a result. Participants must organize an international consortium that consists of representative participant and partner participant. Representative participant is Japanese entity, and the partner participant is a partner country entity. Scope of work of representative participant includes, for example, the applicant for this program as a single window to us. I mean, us Global Environment Center Foundation. Facilities and equipment introduced with using this financial support must be managed by the representative participant throughout legal service time. Scope of work of partner participant includes cooperation with representative participant, operation and management of facilities and equipment at site, also to provide information to us. Project implementation period shall be within 3 years. Application documents must be submitted in the first fiscal year. Ratio of financial support depends on the company size and the project cost. If the representative participant is a small or medium-sized enterprise, the ratio is 2/3. For the case that the representative participant is larger, if project cost per fiscal year exceeds 100 million yen, it's about $1 million, the ratio is half. If project cost per fiscal year does not exceed 100 million yen, the ratio is 1/3. The next slide shows the eligible technologies for co-innovation program. This financial program is intended for innovation and demonstration of decarbonizing technologies that reduce energy-related CO2 emissions. So eligible technologies are contributing to the reduction of energy-related CO2 emissions through waste management in partner countries, the reduction of CO2 emissions from the transport, household, or business sectors, and others in partner countries. The promotion of renewable energy using solar, wind, geothermal, or hydroelectric power generation. Transformation of social system of partner countries into decarbonizing one. The reduction of energy-related CO2 emissions other than the above cases. The next slide shows eligible costs for co-innovation program. Firstly, costs must be directly required to implement the project. Then the details costs are machinery and equipment, erection and installation, ancillary work, survey and test, facilities and instruments, it's including monitoring system, and administrative work. The next slide shows an example of a demonstration project in Vietnam. In the next session, Naito-san from Fukushima Galilei gives a presentation regarding this project. So I just talk about it briefly. This project aims to reduce CO2 emissions by energy saving of showcases and air conditioning in supermarkets. Remarkable innovation point of this project is handling of outside air. They are using dehumidifier, which is actually using desiccant, and also indirect vaporization cooler. Combination of outside system and inside system realizes energy reduction ratio 20% for showcase and 70% for air conditioning. It also brings clean and comfortable store environment. They have already opened the supermarket in Indonesia and will open it in Vietnam in the future. So next we come to the whole hydrogen supply chain program. This program has started from this fiscal year. This program aims to support pilot or demonstration projects to contribute to produce and storage renewable hydrogen in a third country, which has excess renewable energy and transports the hydrogen to use in island countries. And to cultivate demand market by supplying renewable hydrogen to island countries, which will lead to Jcm Model Projects and help developing countries transition to decarbonized society. So we consider whole hydrogen supply chain consists of 3 processes. The first one is to produce hydrogen by using surplus renewable energy in the third country. The second one is to storage in some kind of carrier, such as liquid hydrogen, ammonia, hydrogen absorbing alloy, and transport. The last one is to supply and use in island countries. Then, future vision of this program is to realize Jcm model projects and horizontal expansion. To implement this demonstration project, participants need to organize an international consortium consists of 3 parties, whereas 2 parties for co-innovation program. Representative participant is a Japanese company. Its scope of work is same as co-innovation program. Both of third country company and partner country company need to join the international consortium as a partner participants. Their scope of work is also same as co-innovation program. Next slide is a brief outline of financial support. Budget for project for this year is approximately $5 million. Ratio of financial support is 50% of costs eligible for financing. Costs eligible for financing are same as the cost of co-innovation program. Sorry. Next slide is the information about period. Implementation period of the project is within 3 fiscal years. On the other hand, period of financing support is 1 fiscal year. To manage this difference, we request applicants to submit different types of application documents for the following evaluations. Application for evaluation of adoption is required only 1 time and need to describe the plan for the entire period. Application for evaluation of contents is required every year. The next slide shows the first demonstration project of this hydrogen program proposed by Marubeni Corporation. In South Australia, they will produce hydrogen with electrolyzer by using renewable energy. They will also store surplus energy in battery at cheaper spot power price, and then use the power from the battery for the production of hydrogen after the sunshine peak time in order to improve the availability of electrolyzer and realize cheaper hydrogen cost. For the transportation from South Australia to Indonesia, they will use hydrogen absorbing alloy, that is the metal hydrogen hydride tank. Indonesia, they will use hydrogen as the fuel for fuel cells. It's to supply power and heat to industrial town. One of their future target is to transport green hydrogen to other islands in Indonesia and other Pacific island countries, and to install fuel cells as a replacement of existing diesel generators. This is all for my presentation. Come on, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kubo, for introducing the co-innovation and also the hydrogen programs. These are programs that probably some of our audience will be interested in exploring further, especially if they need a demonstration project or if they're interested in implementing hydrogen related project. So if there are any questions about these programs, you can send to us the question through the Q&A feature, or you can also contact us directly, and we can connect to the person in charge at GC. So we have a last speaker for this session, Ms. Nanako Aoyama. She's an assistant manager at Financing Program Group at Global Environment Center Foundation. She'll give you a presentation entitled Financing Program for Jcm Model Projects and Jcm Global Match. So Ms. Aoyama, over to you.
Okay, thank you for your kind introduction, Kaoru-san. So let me share my screen. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Nanako from JIC. Let me give you a brief introduction and demonstration on the Jcm Global Match. So Jcm Global Match is a tool to enhance the efficiency of your project development, specializing in the Jcm financing program. For example, in the Jcm Model Project, it requires an international consortium, which consists of a representative participant from Japan and a partner participant from Jcm partner countries. I'm assuming that many of companies participating in today's webinar are like the icon on the right upper side, who acquires decarbonizing facilities or technologies to the Jcm partner countries. And like this, Jcm Global Match connects any parties who are interested in the Jcm financing program. Well, today I will show you the actual web page as a demonstration. But before that, let me introduce some features of the Jcm Global Match. Currently, there are more than 500 registrants from Japan and partner countries on this website. And we believe this is the only worldwide web service specializes in the Jcm financing program. Actually, project development through this website and selected for the Jcm Model Project have been recognized. So we hope you do not miss this opportunity. Then let's move on to introduction of some functions. Jcm Global Match has diverse functions, as you can see, according to several occasions. Today, I'm going to show you functions, search engine, specialties, matching, and open discussion, these 4 functions. Okay, then let me switch my screen share to the other one. Okay, here we are. This is the Jcm Global Match of demonstration version. I'll show you the 4 functions that I've just mentioned. Firstly, search engine. This is for whom wants to search partners easily by some keywords. For example, suppose I'm interested in geothermal power plant project. In that case, you just put the keyword geothermal in this search bar and just click search. That was the first function, search engine. That is very simple function, I guess. Okay, then let's move on to second item to show you this. This is specialties. This is the second function. Yeah, by this specialty function, you can promote what you would like to offer or acquire. So let me check this one. Okay, the page I'm currently showing you is created by a person in company which would like to offer a Jcm project of geothermal power plant in Kenya or Ethiopia. And then you can also browse the list of specialty from top page. So let's go back to the top page. Then now let's see the list of companies who wants to acquire decarbonizing technologies, acquire decarbonizing facilities. Then let's see this one, waste to energy. This user apparently thinks of introduction of waste to energy project to Maldives and other countries. Here, I would like to mention to the third function, matching, this one. If you see this page and want to contact them, please click matching request button. According to the counterpart's approval of your request, individual communication will be available. That was third function. Lastly, I'd like to show you the fourth function, open discussion. Let me go back to the top page again. And open discussion have two doors, open discussion by country or open discussion by technology. So today, let me in to the open discussion by technology. Let's see this topic. Yes, this person says looking for a consultant for solar power project development. So if you read this topic and you're interested in this post, just click like or leave your comments to show your interest. This function suits everyone who likes to throw your question or opinions to other registrants widely and openly. Well, today time is limited, so please visit our website, how to use pages. These are open pages, so you can check them without registration. Please check it out. So lastly, please allow me to go back to my slide. Okay, this is the last one. To access the Jcm Global Match, just search or use this QR code to scan with your smartphone. If you have any questions, please contact to the email address right below of the slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aoyama, for introducing a Jcm Global Match. It is especially useful for any audience today who are interested in implementing or utilizing Jcm, but perhaps unable to find their partner, because finding a partner is it is a requirement and a very crucial part of utilizing Jcm. So I'd like to thank all the speakers for this session who presented and shared information in recent developments and trends in Jcm. I think it was a very useful in painting a comprehensive picture of the status of Jcm. So we are running a bit out of time, but I think we have time to pick up two questions that were sent to us from our audience. So I'd like to first welcome back Ms. Uga from the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, to address one of the questions that were sent to us from the audience. So I'll read it out for anyone who may not be able to read it. So the audience asks, are there any plans to sign Jcm bilateral agreements with other countries? And if yes, which countries and when that could happen? So this is to do with if there are any sort of negotiations or plans to expand Jcm partnership to other countries who are not currently Jcm partners. So Uga-san, if you're ready, you can share your thoughts on that. That'll be very much appreciated.
Thank you for the questions. And as I explained briefly in my presentation, we are hoping to expand our Jcm partner countries. But since it's a government discussion, and so I cannot disclose which country we are engaging. But so I didn't use or introduce more detailed information about these three actions. But the information is actually available in Japanese, and we'll put the English version soon. And that document talks about more about the expansion of the Jcm partner countries, and we are hoping to have more partners in from the Indo-Pacific region, including island countries. And since next COP is in Africa, and Japan is very active in development issue in Africa, so we are hoping to have some engagement in Africa also. And was that we started funding with in partnership with UNIDO, which will start soon. So if you have some idea in your mind, please contact us or DEC or any partner organization about your project or the interest in other countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Uga, for sharing that information. Like you mentioned, anyone who's interested in implementing or taking up a Jcm project in other countries other than the 17 partner countries, they're welcome to contact a GC or the Ministry of the Environment anytime. So thank you again, Uga-san, for that answer. And I'd like to take up one more question from our audience. The one and this is for Mr. Takahashi from Global Environment Center Foundation. The audience asks concerning the energy-related projects. So the question goes referring to hydropower. What is the size? Is it below 1 megawatt, 10 megawatt, or 30 megawatt? So I think the question is there any limit or below, the minimum limit or maximum limit for hydrogen projects, and to an extent, I think also renewable energy projects in general. So Takashi-san, over to you.
Okay, thank you for the question. About the site, it is good to be able to reduce large amount of greenhouse gas. However, it is all right if the site is suitable for the system. So we have selected more than 10 hydro projects. It varies from 90 megawatt to 2.3 megawatt, and also micro hydropower is for 160 kilowatt. So size does not matter if it is good project. So good project is that you have good project plan and financing plan and compose good framework between Japan and Vietnam. So below 1 megawatt is all right. That is the answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that information. Indeed, any size of a project will be welcome. And if you're not unsure if you can apply for JCM or not, we are always open to your questions through today's webinar, as well as through email. We have our email address listed on our website. So if you're curious about JCM and using JCM, please feel free to contact us anytime. So unfortunately, we're a bit behind the schedule, so we're going to move on to the next session. But please keep the questions coming. We'll try to answer them on the by text on the Q&A chat feature. So please feel free to send to us any questions for this next session as well. So with that, we're diving into session 3, JCM implementation in Vietnam. We have many speakers who will be sharing their experiences and lessons learned conducting projects in Vietnam. So I think it'll be very informational for everyone. The first speaker is Mr. Kenji Konishi he is an East Japan Group Manager, a Chemical Plant Second Department from Daiichi Jitsugyo. He'll give you a presentation entitled Introduction of Biomass Cogeneration System to Food Factory. So Mr. Konishi, you have the floor.
Thank you, Yamaguchi-san. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenji Konishi from Daiichi Jitsugyo Company. At first, I would like to express my appreciation to the seminar organizer and all audiences for this valuable opportunity presenting today.
I'm sorry, maybe you can put it on a presentation mode so that the audience can see the presentation better. There is, thank you very much.
Today, I would like to go through two main topics for now. First topic, company profile. Second is introduction of our ongoing project as Jcm Model Project in Vietnam. Here's our company outline. Our company name is Daiichi Jitsugyo Company, in short DGK. Our main business is trading machinery and equipment, and we are dealing with many kinds of industrial equipment throughout the world. We were established in 1948 and have been working in this field more than 70 years. Our head office is located in Tokyo, where I'm there, and our sales is 140 billion Japanese yen. It's equivalent to 1.3 billion USD. And we also have Vietnam local subsidiary, 100% shared by DGK. We have two offices. One is in Hanoi, and the other is in Ho Chi Minh City. And our experience in Vietnam started in 2004 and opened Daiichi Jitsugyo Vietnam company since 2013. We also have 39 staffs, including 21 service engineers in there. This slide is to explain our business services. As I explained, we have been working for a long time, and with our 70 years experiences, we are proposing better machines to our clients' demands, such as process, production. Example, it's a chemical reactor, and the energy saving is a high efficiency machines, and the renewable energy, respectively, solar power system, and the factory utilities, and the waste to energy with biomass, binary power generation. So we always find the best solution through state-of-the-art and highly performance machinery to what our clients look for. And from this slide, I'm going to move on to the next topic and talk about our Jcm Model Project. This project has been selected as Jcm Model Project in 2020, and it's ongoing for the implementation. The project name is Introduction of a Biomass Cogeneration System to Food Factory. The project is to supply biomass-based electricity and supplemental generated steam to food production. As you can see here, we established the international consortium with Vietnam local company. Their name is Tuan Hai Group. With our rich experiences operating in Vietnam, we serve as a representative participant in Japan and the local participant in Vietnam, forming the strong bond between the local partner and the project owner. And our roles are project management and MRP during the project period, and the roles of local partner are to invest and operate the cogeneration system. And let's have a look at the system outline here. We are developing cogeneration using biomass with the rice husk as fuel. Our project will reduce greenhouse gas CO2, supplying the clean electricity instead of using the grid electricity. Then, meanwhile, we are supplying the clean steam generated from biomass as well. And the main equipment in this system is the first one, the boiler. Its capacity is 90 tons per hour with superheated steam. And the other is 12 megawatt steam turbine, which is made by Shin-Nippon Machinery. They're one of the most reliable steam turbine makers in the world. And our necessary systems like fuel handling system, ash handling system, water supply system, flue gas treatment are built in the same plant as well. And this page summarizes several main points of our project. The first one, reduction CO2 is 24,115 tons of CO2 per each year. And the second, we will monitor the reduction CO2 for 15 years as a monitoring period. Third point is biomass fuel. As I said, rice husk. We secure the fuel supply chain to ensure the operation. And our project will be the first biomass cogeneration project at Jcm model case in Vietnam. And here, I also try to show another project which we are handling in Vietnam. This is not cogeneration, but project is to supply the biomass fire steam to chemical company. And this is also contributing to much reduction of greenhouse gas. 16,882 tons of CO2 per year with monitoring 17 years. And this project is also a good reference for the mass steam consumer to protect global environment, not using a fossil fuel like coal or oil. And this page showing the DJK's business development to carbon neutral. We have been trying to contributing to the challenge to protecting the current global environment by supplying the best solution through industrial machines. Here are some of our environment developments we are doing. The first one is a binary power generation system. We are proposing it to utilize waste heat and generate the electricity and save grid electricity. And the next one, we are also a provider of engineering, procurement, and construction of solar power system. Recently, we are promoting the film type of solar power, which is possible to be installed at even old factory or factory's wall. The next one, we have also developed small unit of fuel cell using hydrogen. We will release the prototype fuel cell as we compare the hydrogen close to our life. And the last one is related to ammonia. Ammonia is so-called green fuel instead of fossil fuel. That not releasing CO2 when burned. So we invested a startup company to invent this modular unit for small on-site ammonia generation. With these resources, we try to expand and speed up our business to achieve carbon neutral world. This slide is the last page of my presentation. So I try to tell our company is capable to be representative participant for Jcm project. And we try to support your project as Jcm partner. And we also try to support proposing the best technologies or machines to your project. And please contact me anytime if you have any concerns or questions. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope my presentation will be useful for your future consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Konishi, for that presentation. I'd like to welcome next guest speaker, Mr. Shuhei Nakamura. He's a manager at Business Development Team 2, Asia Energy Business Department, Energy Resources and International Business Unit at Osaka Gas. He'll give you a presentation entitled Introduction of 9.8 Megawatt Rooftop Solar Power System to Beverage Factory. So I'd like to hand over the microphone to Mr. Nakamura when you're ready, and maybe you can make the presentation the bigger screen, the presentation mode, if you can. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shuhei Nakamura. I am from Osaka Gas. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the organizers in Vietnam and Japan for hosting this meaningful event, and also for inviting us as a panelist. Today, I'd like to make a presentation on our rooftop solar power business project in Vietnam, which was selected as one of the Jcm projects in 2021. Let me start with brief introduction of our company, followed by project description. So as you can easily imagine from the name of the company, Osaka Gas, we have headquarters in Osaka, and we used to supply only natural gas in the Osaka area, starting from more than 100 years ago. But because of deregulation in Japan, we have expanded our scope to electricity business, and now we have more than 6.5 million customers for natural gas and electricity business in the area. And the financial figures of our company are as you see at the bottom of this page. And talking about the business in Vietnam, we have started gas supply business in Phu My 3 Specialized Industry Park 2 years ago in the form of joint venture with Sojitz Corporation, which is one of the major trading companies in Japan. And as part of the business expansion of that joint venture, 2 months ago, we formed another new joint venture called Solar Energy in the form of in partnership with Loop, which is well-known renewable energy company in Japan. So this Solar Energy rent a roof from customer. They are commercial shopping centers or factories. And then this Solar Energy put solar panels on the roof at its own cost. And this company recovers the initial investment from the electricity payment from customer based on power purchase agreement, which is a long-term contract between Solar Energy and the customer. And the customer, because the electricity unit price is lower than the existing one, the customer can enjoy the electricity cost reduction with no investment cost. So this is a win-win for both Solar Energy and the customer. And this page shows the overview of Jcm project. So we, Osaka Gas and Solar Energy, from a consortium, each as a representative participant and as a partner participant. And the project site is, as you see at the bottom left, is in Long Duc Industrial Park, which is located in South Vietnam. We installed solar panels on the roof of 8 factories in this industrial park, and the total capacity is 9.8 megawatt. And most of the electricity generated from this solar power system would be consumed within these 8 factories. But when there is a surplus electricity which is not consumed within the factories, then Solar Energy will supply that electricity to industrial park, which we think is one of the features of this project. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about this feature on the next page. So in this graph, the gray line shows electricity demand at customer. And the blue line shows electricity generated by solar power system in 1 day over time. And you see this surplus electricity area, which is above electricity demand at customer. And the most common way in Vietnam would be to supply this surplus electricity to EVN. But because of curtailment issue, there's a possibility that EVN cannot receive this surplus electricity depending on the situation. So in our project, we evaluated the overall electricity demand in the industrial park, and we came to the conclusion that there's a high probability that we can consume all the surplus electricity in the industrial park. So now, which is why we can maximize the use of solar power system. With that, we can achieve high greenhouse gas emission reduction in this project. Lastly, I will talk about the future vision of solar energy. The left table shows the PDP-8 draft. As many of you may know, now there's a plan in Vietnam to install many more renewable power projects, especially solar. With that background, this company, Solar Energy, are targeting 50 megawatt rooftop solar in 8 years. And now we are off to a good start with 10 megawatt for the first year, thanks to Jcm implementation. Jcm plays an important and essential role in our project. So we hope that many more new companies will consider this Jcm implementation in a positive way. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nakamura from Osaka Gas, for sharing information about your project. I'd like to invite next guest speaker, Ms. Aki Baba. She's a project manager, International Environment Department, Global Environment Division at Nippon Koei. She'll give you a presentation entitled Promotion of Zero Carbon Technology to Improve the Environment in Hanoi City. It's a city-to-city collaboration between Fukuoka Prefecture and Hanoi. So with that, Ms. Baba, you have the floor. And if you could also make it a presentation mode, the audience will be able to read it better. Just a moment. Is it okay? Yes, perfect. Thank you. And maybe you can speak a little louder. Maybe your microphone is a little bit low, but go ahead. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but the volume is a bit low. Yes, so if you could speak closer to the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aki Baba of Nippon Koei. I'm glad to join this webinar to introduce our new state-to-state collaboration project in between Hanoi City and Fukuoka prefectures. So today I will explain the background of this project and the main activities, and also implementation structures and achievements and 3-year plan of the project. So at first, let me introduce my company, Nippon Koei. Our company has established in 1946. It is one of the biggest consulting firm in Japan. So we expanded the business field both in Japan and all over the world, especially in Asian countries. So we have branch offices in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and also one subsidiary companies we call NK Vietnam in Hanoi City. So since 2015, we are starting to join the state-to-state collaboration project with the various Japanese and overseas cities to promote zero and low carbon technology and promote good policies in Jcm partner countries. So I will explain the history of the collaboration between two cities. At first, for the participant from the Vietnam side, please let me briefly introduce Fukuoka Prefecture. Fukuoka Prefecture is located in the southwest of Japan as a center of the Kyushu regions. It is one of the focal points of the Asian market, which attracts the many businesses and education institutes. Since 2008, Fukuoka Prefecture have a collaboration with the Hanoi City as a friendship city in the environmental field. So there are many activities related to the human resource development and education program, and also technology transfer for water, air pollution, and also waste management were carried out before. So since last year, Hanoi City, Fukuoka Prefecture, and Nippon Koei had considered a new collaboration, which focus on climate actions. So finally, we successfully start a new project in this year. This project aims to promote the zero carbon technology to improve the environment in Hanoi City, started from this August this year. So we recognize that there are more critical issues in Hanoi through the previous discussion. For example, air pollution from the agricultural land caused by the open burning. So under the city-to-city collaboration scheme, we try to solve the existing environmental issues using the unique zero carbon technologies supported by private and private companies in Fukuoka Prefecture. So we set the two main activities. One is the support on the human resource development related to promotion of the zero carbon and the introduction of advanced technology by information sharing. These activities are contribute, of course, several goals under the SDGs. The second activity is Jcm Project formulations. So we are proposing technology such as solar generation and wind powers, energy saving equipment, and hydrogen technology to the Hanoi City under the project. To formulate the Jcm project, we are proceeding data collection for the site selection and introduction of the technology through the online workshop, and also finding a local partner through the online meetings. Then we expect to move the basic design to formulate the Jcm project in the future. This is a step-by-step. So this figure shows the organization structure of the project. Hanoi City MONRE is very collaborative with the Fukuoka Prefecture now. Then in the Fukuoka side, there is a three private company joined to the project because it's called Seibu-Giken, Liang and Agri-Trees. In the Vietnam side, we have one company, Kanematsu KGK Vietnam. They joined to support this project to formulate the Jcm project. Now we are finding the candidate of the companies and organization in Vietnam under this project. We Nippon Koei, as a representative company of project of city-to-city collaboration project to support strengths of the cooperation with both cities, and also support to formulate the Jaishan project between the Coca companies and Vietnamese companies. So let me introduce our partner companies. Agri-Tree is provide a solar sharing system in agricultural land with support on the livelihood improvement. Then Liam Wind is can provide a compact and energy efficiency wind power. It's very unique and very easy to customize even in the city area. So it can also generate the electricity within the weak wind. Kanematsu KGK, Vietnam has already conducting the Jcm project in Vietnam. We expect they will support to formulate the Jcm project under this project. The Seibu also has a unique technology of the filter with the honeycomb structure, which shown in this slide. So this technology can absorb the specific gases like VOC using this filter. I expected this technology can also use for the reduction of the CO2 gas in the future. So one professor from the Kyushu University also joining our project to provide the technology information of the fuel source using the hydrogen from the fishery waste and any biomasses. Okay, this is the 3 years plan of this project. So now we are in a stage of the first year. So there is some achievement of it shows in yellow color. But we expect to continue this project at least 3 years because it needs the time to the decarbonization of the cities and formulation of the Jcm project. Okay, so I think this city-to-city collaboration scheme is a very unique and effective approach for the attractiveness of the both cities. So our project plans to hold a workshop next year to introduce our technology to the Hanoi and Vietnam side. So please contact us if you have interest in our activity. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Baba, for sharing the information about your particular city-to-city collaboration project and also about the city-to-city collaboration project or program in general. So for this next presentation, we have 3 speakers. I'd like to invite them all together. Mr. Takanori Arima, he's an executive director at Kitakyushu Asian Center for Low Carbon Society Environmental Bureau of City of Kitakyushu. Then we have Ms. Dun. She's a deputy director, Department of Foreign Affairs at Haiphong City. And lastly, Mr. Kohei Hibino. He's from Kitakyushu Urban Center Institute for Global Environmental Strategies. So I'd like to hand the microphone over to Mr. Arima from City of Kitakyushu. So Mr. Arima, over to you.
Thank you for the moderator. Hi, I'm Takanori Arima, the Executive Director, Environment Bureau, the City of Kitakyushu. Today, I would like to appreciate to give me the opportunity to present the city-to-city cooperation project between Haiphong and Kitakyushu. Both cities have jointly conducted many environmental projects and have deepened mutual friendship as sister city. With the support of the Ministry of the Environment, Government of Japan, will start a new green growth project to expand renewable energy this fiscal year. I hope that this project will encourage Haiphong to realize decarbonization in 2050. Also, we would like to do our best to ensure that this ambitious project creates a virtuous cycle of environmental economy in both Vietnam and Japan. Okay, so next for me, the Ms. Dun, dear business partner of Haiphong, will give her greeting. Please, Ms. Dun, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Takanori Arima. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, the corporation Kitakyushu and since 2014 we become sister city, and since then the two cities have actively implemented different cooperation in different sectors. Especially we have experienced different valuable joint projects in environment sector in order to promote the green growth in Haiphong. As an industrial city in Vietnam, the city of Haiphong, of course, still faces many challenges in greenhouse gas emission reduction. And we are willing to lead the city local governments in Vietnam in zero carbon developments in collaboration with Kitakyushu. Currently, we are working with Kitakyushu friends on a project to promote eco-industrial parks to work carbon neutrality in Haiphong City. And now I would like to introduce Mr. Kohei Hibino from the Kitakyushu Urban Center, IJS, to present about this project. Mr. Kohei Hibino, please.
Thank you, Mr. Arima and Ms. Dung. And Xin Chào and good morning, everybody. Let me share my slides. Okay, can you hear this? Can you see?
Yes, we can see and hear clearly.
Okay. Okay. My name is Kohei Hibino. I'm a program manager at Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, or IJS in short. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to share what IJS is doing together with Haiphong City and Kitakyushu City. What I'm going to share today is a brief outline of the city-to-city collaboration project that was recently accepted. As we have just started our survey, we don't have tangible results yet to share, unfortunately, but so this would be a plan for the next coming few years. So this is a collaborative efforts together with both cities, several private companies in Vietnam and Japan, and IJS taking the coordinating role. Oops. Oh yeah. As a background, the intercity cooperation between the two cities started back in 2009 when they signed the MOU for friendship cooperation. Then in 2014, MOU on sister city was signed and the Green Growth Promotion Plan of Haiphong City was developed together. And since then, both cities have been working closely to implement 15 model projects identified in the Green Growth Promotion Plan. And after 10 years of cooperation in 2019, new MOUs were signed with two leading industrial estates in Haiphong to promote eco-industrial parks. These MOUs became the basis of this current project. Both Kitakyushu City and Haiphong City have the feature of industrial cities where there are high demand of energy and CO2 emission reduction is a challenge. The left-hand figure shows that the aim scenario analysis of Haiphong City with a target of 45% GHG reduction until 2050 compared to BAU scenario, which is aligned with the national target. As you can see, the orange portion is industry and occupies more than 50% of the entire emissions. The right-hand figure shows the breakdown of the industrial sector, and it shows that the energy saving in factory, which is in blue color, are regional energy and regional energy supply system in green color occupies a large portion, indicating that these sectors have large GHG emission reduction potentials. So our survey has taken into account these characteristics of Haiphong City in the design and strategy. As the previous speakers has already mentioned, the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Mr. Chin, has pledged that Vietnam will strive for carbon neutrality by 2050 at the COP26 last month in Glasgow. At the same occasion, a side event entitled Leading Efforts Toward Achievement of Zero Carbon Cities was organized by the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, and both Kitakyushu City and Haiphong City were represented, including Ms. Dung. And both cities emphasized the interest of leading the zero carbon city development through the intercity collaborations. And this project is expected to play a key role. This figure shows the overall project outline of the city-to-city collaboration project of Kitakyushu City and Haiphong City. Through the knowledge transfer from Kitakyushu City on renewable energy installations, and eco-town management and project development covering wide sector, the major aims to achieve, the project aims to achieve zero emission industrial estates as the ultimate goal. So we are not just interested in reducing GHG emissions from the industry sector, but also want to promote circular economy by enhancing the recovery and recycling of waste and wastewater generated from the industrial estates. As much as possible. The project duration of the city-to-city collaboration projects is maximum of 3 years. And through conducting extensive survey and know-how transfers, we are aiming to identify and develop feasible Jcm projects. We are also hoping that it will support the target industrial estates obtaining the Eco-Industrial Park accreditations. And in the meanwhile, it is also expected that policy dialogues between the two cities on zero carbon cities, including application of AIM low carbon scenario modeling, will be conducted alongside this project. As such, through both hardware and software assistances, we are hoping that Haiphong City will become a model for zero carbon city development in Vietnam. In order to realize the objectives of this project, we have developed a survey team under the existing cooperation framework of the two cities. We are targeting two leading industrial estates in Haiphong, which Kitakyushu City has exchanged MOU with. Those are the Namkongkien Industrial Park and Deep Sea Industrial Zones. We will be conducting surveys in 4 different sectors in cross-cutting manner. And in each survey sector, leading environment technology or system providers in Japan will be closely working together with the local partners to conduct feasibility studies. As for the knowledge transfer, Kitakyushu City has been working very hard to promote 100% renewable energy installation in all public buildings in the city, which accounts for more than 2,000 facilities. The key point of this system is the what we call third-party ownership model that allows quick installation of renewable energies and other low-carbon technologies without requiring initial investment costs. In the project, we will be seeking possibilities of transferring this know-how to Haiphong City, targeting the industrial estates, and by customizing it to match the local needs and circumstances. For project development, we will be conducting feasibility studies to identify promising Jcm model projects covering wide range of sectors in industrial estates, which includes energy savings, renewable energy, energy management, and waste energy recovery. And it is intended that installation of these low carbon technologies are closely aligned with and will contribute to the three key concepts of the eco-industrial park, which is resource efficiency, industrial symbiosis, and cleaner production. So that's all for my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with either of us. Thank you for listening. Come on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hibino, for that presentation. And then again, many thanks to Mr. Arima and Ms. Dun for sharing your words about the project as well. So I have a last speaker for this session to talk about co-innovation project, Mr. Osami Naito from Overseas Division from Fukushima Garirei. With the presentation entitled Demonstration of High Performance Ventilation, Air Conditioning, and Showcase Combined Control to Food Supermarket in Asia. So with that, Mr. Naito, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you for Kaoru-san. I'm Naito from Fukushima Garirei. Thank you for taking this opportunity. For today, I'd like to report to you about demonstration of high performance ventilation, air conditioning, and showcase combined control to food supermarket in Asia, Co-Innovation Project 2020. Problem with supermarket, humidity has a huge impact on the problem of supermarket in Asia. Concentration occurrence cannot see the product inside. Mold occurs the ceiling, unsanitary. And then cold air stay on the floor, so customer feeling cold and cannot wait to go outside. Environment in Vietnam. Vietnam is humid due to its high humidity, heavy rain, and tropical climate. Humidity is controlled, so important. Air conditioner work. Breakdown of air conditioner work for summer season. The graph shows us that air conditioner use energy to lower humidity rather than lower temperature. Controlling humidity with an air conditioner is infinite. Separation of work by desiccant and air conditioner. Humidity control is desiccant air conditioning. Temperature control is air conditioning. However, the introduction of desiccant does not solve the humidity problem. A total of the entire store is required. Our design point 1, most of conventional stores use ventilation fan system. So in the room become negative pressure. In normal ventilation, high temperature air containing a large amount of water enters from the entrance or gap in the store together with dust and bacteria in the air, creating a virtuous cycle environment. Therefore, food supermarkets tend to reduce ventilation. For new ventilation design, use desiccant air conditioning systems, so in the room become positive pressure. By using desiccant air conditioning, air with appropriate temperature and humidity is supplied to the store. So the environment inside the store does not deteriorate. In addition, a hygienic sales floor can be maintained with fresh air with bacteria and mold are suppressed. Our design point 2, for dash count unit connected to showcase, use duct in the pit. So air proceed by the dash count air conditioner is supplied from the bottom of the showcase. Can create a store that is not cold even if you stand in front of the showcase. Our design point 2, for regular store, floor temperature, 0.1, 4.9 degree, 0.2, 4.6 degree. This means the floor of the supermarket is cold. However, stores that have introduced the system's floor temperature 0.1, 22.3 with dash count SA blowout, 4.2, 80.7 degree without dash count SA blow. The effect of raising the temperature by 4 to 7 degree at the bottom of case. We can make realization of comfortable space. It's not cold even in front of the showcase. Our design point 3, for regular store, treated with an air conditioner and cold air stays on the floor. But stores that have introduced the systems, air processed by the dash count air conditioner is spread from the bottom of the showcase. For energy saving effect, the graph shows you how energy saving use dash count system. It's use additional energy for the ventilation system, but you can see that it saves energy in everything else. Achieved 20% or more reduction in store power consumption in summer season. Energy saving effect exceeding the estimation was obtained throughout the year. Improved problem. We clear the humidity problem, so no concentration. You can see the product inside well. No mold. Improved hygiene. Clean supermarket can keep. Bottom of showcase have a warm air. Become comfortable store and customer can stop shop slowly. First overseas introduction. Fukushima Galilei Group have a branch in Asia, and 2 stores have already opened in Indonesia that have introduced the system in this demonstration. Vietnam first store planning. Scheduled to be held at Aeon Solar Garden store in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. Please experience a comfortable supermarket. The project scheduled to open in 2023. Based on the knowledge gained from this project, we aim to expand into supermarket in Asia countries. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Mr. Naito, for introducing the co-innovation project. And I'd like to thank again for all the presenters who shared their presentations and talked about their project in this session. We're a bit behind the schedule, but I'd like to have the speakers come back to address some of the questions or speak more in details about their project. So I'd like to first welcome back Mr. Konishi from Daiichi Jitsugyo and Mr. Nakamura from Osaka Gas to the stage once again, and I'd like to ask them 2 different questions. So for Mr. Konishi from Daiichi Jitsugyo, I was wondering what are some of the important points in forming a Jcm Model Project? And for Mr. Nakamura from Osaka Gas, I was wondering perhaps you can talk about some of the difficulties or difficult points in forming a Jcm project. So for Mr. Konishi, I'll read the question in Japanese just for clarification. JCM の形成において重要なポイントについてお話しいただければと思います。So with that, Mr. Konishi, important points of forming Jcm Model Project. Go ahead.
Thank you again, Yamaguchi-san. So I think the most important point to make a Jcm project is a strong relationship with local partners. So it's because Jcm monitoring period like long, like 15 years, 17 years. So of course we need to study for the economical calculation, technology, reliability, and fuel supply chain, especially for biomass. But as I said, so strong relationship with the local partner is very important.
Thank you very much for sharing that insight. And then I would like to ask Mr. Nakamura from Osaka Gas. I think it's a related question, but the difficulties in formulating a Jcm Model Project. So if you're ready to answer that question, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So looking back, I guess the most difficult part was time management of overall scale overall project. So of course there's a deadline for Jcm application, and at the same time we need to have negotiation with potential customers who allow us to install solar panels on the roof. So we need to make everything done within the given time frame, which I think was the most difficult part.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Konishi and Mr. Nakamura, for sharing your insight. With COVID still not quite under control, I think communicating with your partner and as well as keeping to the schedule must be also contributing to your challenges and also keeping up with the important part of Jcm as well. So thank you very much for sharing that insight as well, and as well as the presentation. So I'd like to, for the next question, I'd like to welcome back Ms. Baba from Nippon Koei, as well as Mr. Arima from City of Kitakyushu, Ms. Dun from Haiphong City, and Mr. Hibino from Institute for Global Environmental Strategies for similar questions about their city-to-city collaboration projects. So I have just one same question for both Ms. Baba and Mr. Hibino. So regarding your respective project, what do you think is the particularly promising or highly feasible technology for Jcm, for Jcm to become a Jcm project in the future? So I would like to ask Ms. Baba to begin.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. So I expect the technology of the Seibu Giken is a very has a high potential for the Jaishan project to reduce the CO2 emission reduction as a energy saving technology, because we are conducting the field survey in Hanoi, and we get several information of the potential buildings and facilities. It's more than 250 we already recognized. Now we are promoting we will be promoting that technology to the Hanoi city. That's why I promote this technology as a Jcm project. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Hibino from IGES, if you'd like to take it up.
Thank you, Yamaguchi-san, for your question. If you say most promising, then that might be a solar power project. But as everybody knows, there's too many solar power projects because for cost effectiveness, it's one of the most feasible project. But the subsidy rate is decreasing. So I would like to push one of our proposed project, which is a smart power plant in industrial estate, which manages the energy demand and supply with EMS energy management system, including power generated from the solar power, and also installing like cogeneration system, and the generated steam from the cogenerator can also be supplied to the nearby factories, so that as a whole, it's more complicated. So it's not so, as easy as solar power to be accepted, but in terms of cost benefit, co-benefit in the entire industrial estate, I think it's more promising. And I think that matches well with the eco-industrial park concept, which Ministry of Planning and Industry is promoting. Yes, so that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for both speakers for sharing that thought. I think it is also mentioned in Vietnam's NDC that energy, saving and efficiency is one of the, I think, priority areas for achieving their net zero goal in 2050. So I think both your projects also sort of contribute to that extent. So I think that was a meeting, with the Vietnam's policy is also important in promoting a city-to-city collaboration and also JCM. So I think that was very interesting and inspiring answers to that question. So thank you again, once again, for coming back to addressing that question. And I just have one more. I'd like to welcome back, lastly, Mr. Naito from Fukushima Galilei to ask him a little bit more about the co-innovation project. So if you I'll read it out. I'll read out the question. So after completing this co-innovation project that you just discussed with us, are there any plans to expand it to a Jcm project in the future? Are any plans in the future in general for your project?
Yeah. So I thinking the most important point is we need to explain to the customer why we need to this technology and we need these systems. Of course, we need to make customer happy for first, but also customer makes happy to the people who is living the area and the countries for energy saving and a comfortable space. And then it means for huge work is us saving. So we need to just not only business partner, we need to make one team. And then most important point, why we need to doing for these systems for the spare as well for the supermarket. I need to explain one by one customer for first. I think this is why I need to do step up fast.
Thank you very much, and hopefully you'll be able to expand to more stores, more facilities in the future, and also use the same technology to undertake a JCM project in the future. So thank you again for coming back to that to answer that question. So so I'd like to thank again for all the speakers who presented during today's webinar. We're just a little bit behind the schedule, but I'd like to move on. And so before sorry, before I move on, I'd like to just quickly remind our audience that when you exit this event, you'll see a questionnaire on the browser screen. Please take a minute to answer it. It's a very important for us to know what you're thinking, or what you liked, or what maybe you didn't like about today's webinar. So please take a moment to answer that questionnaire, and many thanks in advance. So without much delay, I'd like to welcome Mr. Yuji Kimura. He's the Executive Director and Head of Tokyo Office at Global Environment Center Foundation, for the closing remarks for today's event. So Mr. Kimura, you have the floor whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Yamaguchi-san. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the organizers, I'd like to say a few words at the closing address. First, we deeply appreciate all of you for participating in today's seminar. We are also very grateful for the kind cooperation by Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Vietnam, or MONRE, and Vietnam Jcm Secretariat. Without your cooperation, we couldn't have held this seminar successfully. We have been holding Jcm seminars continuously in Vietnam for several years, with exception of the last year. This year, we are pleased to hold this seminar as one of the events of Vietnam-Japan Environmental Week. Due to the influence of coronavirus, we held the seminar in a webinar format, but thanks to you, we were able to have many more participants than expected today. For today's seminar, we have chosen innovation for carbon neutrality through Jcm as the main theme because of the recent rapid developments toward carbon neutral society worldwide, including Vietnam and Japan. These developments, including the ambitious targets for the year 2030, were presented by the representatives from MONRE, Vietnam, and the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, in today's seminar. In achieving these national targets and goals, the cooperation between Japan and Vietnam is becoming much more important than before. This year's COP26 successfully agreed on various remaining issues, one of which is a set of rules for market mechanism and the Paris Agreement. Jcm is a pioneering model of voluntary approach under the category of market mechanism. COP's agreement has given a concrete basis for Jcm. In today's seminar, we have heard both parties' high expectations to fully utilize Jcm as a tool to contribute to achieving our common goals. In responding to it, our presenters explained the overall rules and procedures of Jcm and Jcm financing program, as well as the current development of Jcm Model Projects. Among 70 partner countries, Vietnam is one of the countries which have the largest number of Jcm Model Projects. From these projects, we picked up some promising Jcm Model Projects and other relevant projects. The representative companies of these projects show the clear images of the projects. It is important to formulate Jcm Model Projects in ways to contribute to national and local policies. From this point of view, the city-to-city collaboration scheme has been promoted for many years. Through this scheme, a lot of projects have been formulated and proposed for Jcm Model Project. We are also facilitating the modification, the demonstration of decarbonizing technologies through co-innovation with partner countries. In addition, we are promoting pilot projects for introducing the whole hydrogen supply chain composed of a hydrogen using partner country and a green hydrogen generating country. Both types of demonstration projects are expected to be implemented under Jcm financing program in the next step. As we heard in today's seminar, Jcm has a great potential to promote the introduction and dissemination of a variety of decarbonizing technologies and to contribute to achieving the net zero target, as well as sustainable development goals in Vietnam. I hope this seminar has provided all the participants with the opportunity to know and utilize Jcm. We are assisting companies which are interested in Jcm through individual consultation. In addition, our global match provides opportunities for sellers and buyers to find each other and formulate Jcm project together. We hope you will actively use these opportunities. Finally, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all the speakers for their excellent contribution. Thank you very much, and come on noon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimura, for the closing remarks. And I'd like to reiterate his comment on thanking all the speakers who presented their projects today. And I'd like to thank all the audience who participated in our webinar today. We certainly was insightful and informational for everyone. If there are any questions that were not answered today, or if you think of any questions later, please do not hesitate to contact Global Environment Center Foundation anytime about Jcm. And just quickly, there will be another event on F-gas or CFC gas that will start right after this event. This is also in conjunction with the Japan-Vietnam Environment Week. So if anyone is interested in seeing the event, please visit the Japan-Vietnam Environment Week website for the URL to visit that event. This will be about CFC gas related theme. So with that, I'd like to also thank the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Vietnam, as well as the Ministry of the Environment Japan for co-organizing today's event. And with that, please answer the questionnaire when you leave the event. That will be very much appreciated. And with that marks the end of today's event. Thank you very much again for participating and spending the morning with us. And we look forward to seeing your project and seeing you soon. Thanks again and goodbye.